¿Todo bien?
¿Habla español?
Sí, amigo.
Sí.
¿Tú qué tal?
Poquito. Bailamos, te quiero.
Te quiero.
Te quiero.
Amor mío.
Amor mío.
Vamos.
Vamos. ¿Habla español?
Sí.
Me-
You want to start the podcast like this?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, habla español. No, we're just fucking around. I learned a little bit of Spanish, no?
Vale.
Yeah. How are you?
Bien, ¿y tú?
¿Ya bien? Muy bien.
Muy bien.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Anything for you.
Thank you. I'm constantly quite inspired by the amount you get done in a day. It can't be easy for you. You've come from another country and you've blended so beautifully into this culture. Tell me, why did you first come to India?
I came when I was 21. I just graduated from university. And at that age, you kind of don't have anything tying you down anywhere, right? So I got a contract as a dancer in Bollywood. And I was like, why not? And luckily, my parents are very supportive with my dance career. So they were like, yeah, go for 6 months. That was 5 years ago. So yeah, 6 months turned into a 5-year long stay.
And you came to dance, what sort of dance?
Whatever they required. I'm a trained dancer in jazz, contemporary, ballet, commercial, tap. But here, I don't think any of that has, actually, maybe jazz a few times, ballet a couple of times in my 5-year career here. But whatever they require, you have to learn. I've learned Garba, I've learned Lezim, I've learned Kathak, I've learned Bollywood, like all that in my last few years here.
What made you stay?
I love the culture, I love the opportunities, the possibilities that you get here, the people, the food, everything. And I just felt like I wasn't done. After my first contract, COVID hit, so then I was like, I had to go home. Then I came back for my second contract, and after that, I still felt like I was hungry for more, but I didn't want to do the same kind of thing I was doing. So then I had to figure out another way to come back to India and work here and live here without being on that dance contract that I was on originally. So then I came and I was studying with my guru, yoga. So yoga came into my life at that time. I was still dancing, exploring acting also. So a lot of things just blended in, and that's what made me stay.
Gotcha. What was the first thought you had when you landed in India?
What the hell am I doing? I was so scared because I landed, it was 4 a.m. It was pitch black outside. I remember sitting in the taxi, I was like looking outside, seeing all the street dogs, all the rubbish on the road. And I didn't know there was this guy who was taking me to my apartment, didn't speak a word of English. I didn't understand any of Hindi, obviously. And I was like, where am I going? And we got to Versova and we started walking down this small dark alleyway with my suitcases. I was like, I don't know where this guy is taking me. But then once I entered the house, there were other foreigner girls there and it was fine. I think the first few days were a shock, but after that, I just blended in immediately.
Is that rare? Because I know you've had a lot of friends from across the world who are also part of the same industry, dancing and acting and modeling.
Yeah, it's not the usual. Most of my friends who I first was working with, none of them have stayed. Only one friend came back with me in the second time I came back. Otherwise, no one has come back. So I don't think it's a usual thing. You either love this place or you also can't handle it because it's not for everyone. Especially Mumbai is such a tough city. It's not easy. So I don't know. Actually, I still don't understand why I have such a deep connection with this country and the city. Maybe in my past life, I had some connection.
And are there like strong cultural shocks that till this day you think about to surprise you?
Yeah. There's a lot of things from the city is amazing, but there's a lot of things that I also think, like, for example, the rubbish on the road. I still look at that and I'm like, there has to be a lot of changes here. But in terms of culture, I think I've accepted everything so well that, yes, it's fascinating for me. It's not really a shock in such. It's just fascinating how people do things. Like, I find everything amazing. All the festivals, the food, the dancing. I just take everything. I think if you want to live somewhere, if you want to immerse yourself in a culture, you have to be able to accept it. Yeah, of course, everything's going to be shocking at the beginning. Like the first time I came here, the first thing that shocked me was the smell. I'm sure it happens to most people. When you land in Mumbai, there's this humidity hit, also the smell that comes, everything. It's like coming from Spain, can you imagine, or London? I grew up in both places, so it's very different.
Bombay is a pretty crazy city. There's so much going on. The pace is really fast. Often people from different parts of the country also come to Bombay and find the pace overwhelming. How have you stayed so driven and so on point and locked in? You've been here for 5 years and you're doing so much, being a white girl. Take me through what your day looks like.
Mumbai is not easy, but I think the one thing that's kept me going for so many years here is that I feel like I have a purpose. Like I said from the beginning, after my second time in the city, it wasn't enough for me. I felt like I had to stay here and do more. So I always had that in my mind. I could be in Spain, I could be with my family, I could be comfortable every day, I could be having an easier life, but I don't know why I choose this. There are days I'm in the rickshaw and I'm looking outside, I'm like, why am I here? But then I have that purpose, I have that drive, I know what I'm doing. I feel like there's more for me to do and I'm just slowly getting there. So my life has two very opposite spectrums, my yoga life and then my acting life, the Bollywood side. So it's like one extreme to the other. So I think having both in my life really keep me balanced, grounded, humble. Because as you know, as being an actor here, if you don't have a lot going on, it can also get tough. So I think yoga came into my life for a reason. And it's still a journey. It's only been 4 or 5 years. So that is a journey that's ongoing and is growing, is keeping me going here. The acting is something that just came like that as a surprise. And I'm just also building on that. So my days look very different. When I'm not shooting, I'm working on my yoga. I've got around 8 private clients right now. So I go from one house to another. I go from Andheri to Powai to Bandra to Juhu. So every day is just on the go. So sometimes I don't even have time to think.
So tell me, like, what time do you wake up and take me through your time
Okay,
slot?
so yoga day. Yeah. So I wake up usually around 6 a.m. I go directly for my first class at 7:15. My mornings are packed with 3-4 classes, depends on the day. Then I go to the gym, I have my own workout, my own me time. The gym for me is more than physical, it's also a mental it's like a therapy for me. It's my therapeutical piece. And then I usually have evening classes also. In between, I may have some appointments, like the last 2-3 months I've been having my physio, so in between I fit that in. Maybe meet up with some friends or something, because also you have to fit your social life in. And those are my yoga days. Otherwise, I combine that with my acting also. So it's from 6 in the morning. I usually get home around 8-9 p.m. from all of that. So yeah.
So you're doing all of that. You're starting at 6 a.m. and you're doing yoga. You're shooting content. You're acting, and you're sort of like prepping for films.
Yeah, auditions. All that happens in one day. So in between, like yesterday I had classes in between. I also had to shoot content for a brand. I also had, at one point, 2 days ago, I was shooting a reel at midnight. No, sorry, I was shooting an audition at midnight that I was here. I feel like there's no concept of work time.
Yeah.
It's 2 in the morning, people are still calling you for work. It's 9 o'clock at night, you want to calm down, you want to zone out, you want to turn your phone off, but it's almost not possible in the city. Like you see on Instagram, you should not look at your phone 2 hours before sleeping. I don't think it's possible for us, because our work depends also on what work is coming through your phone, right? So sometimes that's also quite hard to manage. If you want to sleep early, I find it very difficult to sleep early. So even though I wake up at 6 in the morning, I may not sleep until like midnight or 1 a.m. in the morning, which is not good.
Yeah,
Would not
for sure.
recommend that, please.
So I feel like when you have your hands dipped in a bunch of pies in a lot of different industries that you're working with, and there's so much going around the clock, you have to find a way to be able to balance it all. Like for me, like when I was in hospitality and I was also modeling and I was auditioning and I was doing voiceovers, you were constantly spread so thin because you had so much going on. but that's just the law of the jungle. That's the way it works. You know, you have to be able to keep that momentum going. Do you feel like there's a particular habit in India that you still can't wrap your head around?
Sometimes I see like 5 people on a bike. I'm like, do people not understand safety? I swear. Like, that is one thing I think, how, like, safety regulations in this country is like 0.
Yeah.
Right? That's one thing that should change.
Okay, got it.
But otherwise, I think I've accepted everything. I find things crazy, but I just accept it. I mean, it's India, and I love it.
What is one Indian habit that you've secretly fallen in love with?
Eating with my hands. I love it. And now I understand it. When I first came to India, I found it very weird. But there's actually a very significant and a very powerful meaning to it, right? You know what it means, right? The connection with your hands and your brain when you're going to touch your food is sending messages to your brain that, okay, this food is hot or cold, and it also helps with digestion, and it's also a way to connect with the food. So it's also a very spiritual thing, and I think in the West we don't have that concept at all. It's just like food is there, of course it's a fuel for the body, but that spiritual connection and with the body and your food is not there. Yeah. And I learned that from being here.
India has such an incredibly rich heritage and such a powerful history. Yeah. The contributions to the world have been invaluable. Like, there are so many things that people don't know about, right? Like the foundations for arithmetic, trigonometry, decimal system, zero, the number 0, all were founded from people in India, you know. So, I mean, the whole tech revolution, the whole algorithm is based, in a sense, on that foundation, you know. Yoga, Kama Sutra, Tantra, Buddhism was born in India, Hinduism was born in India. So there's such a rich lineage that Ayurveda, that comes from India. And I think now people are beginning to recognize the power of India and how it's sort of come up on the map, because it's one of the superpowers and an incredible economy, and you have the world's biggest brands coming to India because they've understood that India represents growth, it represents progress, it represents a voice that is relevant, you know. I think that's huge. That's an incredible thing. Even in terms of film and fashion, you know, we have so many friends that are now, you know, really incredibly beautiful dusky girls who never got their, fair share of attention, or even could not enter a room like they can enter a room today in an international fashion circuit. They're walking in Paris Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week, you know. It's just phenomenal. It's great to see. You know, so like somebody like you who's in India and who's sort of like building a career, multiple careers, it's very refreshing, but it's also very unique, because I know India's the kind of place that people come in and either, you know, it grows on them and they fall in love with it, or they just know that it's something that they're never going to be able to really come to terms with.
I think my family only accepted me living here until last year. It took them like 4 years to accept. And even people now still ask me, why are you there? Any new person I meet here in Mumbai, they're like, why are you living here? Don't you miss your home? Why have you chosen here? So I understand that it's still very new, it's still very different that someone from abroad will move to Mumbai. But the moment you stepped into the city, you get it. I think my parents got it now after they came and saw me and saw my life, saw what I'm doing, because it is such an amazing city. Like, you can compare it to London, to New York easily because of what so much is going on. It's such a fast-paced city. There's new things happening. Every day you can go out to a new event. There's new things coming up every alternate day. So I think people underestimate it a lot. You just need to open people's eyes that India is not just what you see in Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
What are the differences in like living in London and living in Mumbai? 3 top things that stand out that make you want to live in Mumbai?
The people, first of all. I feel so connected to people here. It's like you step out, anything you need, people will help you. And I don't think it's just because I'm white. I think it's just Indian culture. Unfortunately, you're in London, most people are just in their own zone, in their own tunnel. You go in the tube, everyone's just like this. no one says hi to each other. I go to London, I feel very sad most of the time now. Second of all, weather. I love the heat, so I do not like English depressing weather. And yeah, just the opportunities that the city gives you, because it is the city of dreams. No, everyone comes here with a purpose, and that hunger, that drive is also there in London, but it's different. It's a very different energy. I think you have to feel it. Words cannot explain that energy difference. So yeah.
Do you often feel anxious or anxiety within the schedule of the day?
Yeah. Like the other day, my mom called me. I was in the rickshaw. I just started crying. It's okay. It's normal. She's like, "What's wrong?" I'm just like, sometimes Mumbai can get overwhelming, right? It's normal.
Yeah.
It's not an easy city. Also, you have a lot of, when you come here from another country, there are things that are very different to you, even though you're still trying to accept and blend and mold into everything. There are things that still hit you every day, and you don't have your family to just go and catch up with coffee and stuff. So there are days that are hard. And sometimes I do feel a bit anxious, and when I'm doing the right thing, should I go back to Europe? Would my life be easier there? But then I remind myself that I have chosen to be here. I am doing what I love every day. I have amazing people around me. So the pros are a lot higher and bigger than the cons in the city, for sure.
Do you feel like Bombay is home?
Yeah. I land and I see that carpet in Mumbai. I thought, that old carpet that should be changed at some point. But I love it. It's like, I'm home.
Bombay authorities, if you're watching, we love that carpet at the airport. But it does need a wash from time to time. Maybe once in 3 years.
Literally.
That carpet's a wild carpet.
It's iconic.
It's iconic. It's an iconic carpet, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you struggle with like self-worth? Do you struggle with like believing that you got this?
Yeah, because being in this film industry is not easy. I think even the biggest actors would feel like sometimes they're not worth, or they can't do it, and especially when you're starting. It's hardly been not even 2 years that I've moved into the acting industry, because going from a dancer to acting is very tough. I had to say no to so much work for almost a year because I was trying to cut out the dance work in order to move to the acting scene. And I love dancing, it's my passion, but I knew that if I wanted to grow in the city, if I wanted to be more stable financially, physically, mentally, I needed to leave the dancing full time. So that was also a big struggle. Am I good enough? Will I ever be able to do that shift from dancing to acting? Because unfortunately also in this industry, in the film industry, there is a big segregation if you're a background dancer to an actor in terms of respect, how they see you. So to do that shift takes time. And it also takes a lot of willpower and strength to be like, no, I'm not going to do that work anymore. I'm going to wait, even if I have to say no to hundreds of projects, because I know the acting work will come. So that time, and it's still happening, that I still get called for dance work and I have to say no because I know that I can't keep mixing it. So that has been tough in terms of believing that I can do that.
Got it. Do you have any like spiritual practices that you rely on heavily to feel grounded every day?
Yoga as a whole has literally been my savior, and I had practiced. Before coming to India, I maybe practiced yoga maybe twice or thrice. I'd gone to a couple of yoga classes with my mom in London. But it was never part of my daily practice. It was never part of my routine, my habits. And it saved me. Without realizing it, saved me. I was doing it as a hobby, maybe once or twice a week with my guru here in Mumbai between my shoots when I was dancing. And then it just became something I needed every day. Something unconsciously was calling me, saying, this is meant for you. And I do practice yoga every day, whether it's on the mat, off the mat. Yoga is not just a physical thing, it's also how you speak to yourself, the breathing practices, how you walk around outside with other people. So having that in my mind has really been a savior, has helped me to stay grounded and everything. So in terms of daily practices, it's my yoga, my breathing, my workouts, all that is something that I practice daily.
And you started chanting?
And I started chanting thanks to you.
Nice. I think increasingly people need a spiritual practice that enables them to feel grounded, to develop themselves,
For
to
sure.
find their compass, to find their anchor. And I think in a very volatile society, having that anchor is so important to be able to create value. Because I feel like people are constantly blaming social media and saying social media is one of the biggest perils of this generation. Yes, social media is a tool. It's like your mind. You have to use it. But I think social media isn't actually what's the problem. The problem is people are constantly using their environment for validation. They're on this popularity contest, the validation wheel, the comparison treadmill. They're constantly forced to compare themselves with somebody when they wake up and they log on Instagram. But unfortunately, the comparison treadmill will only trigger anxiety and create crippling insecurity. And the truth is that if a person is building a strong sense of self and a rich inner life based on a powerful spiritual practice, then they will be able to use social media as a tool, because their sense of validation or sense of self-worth isn't wrapped up or isn't dependent on their environment or how many likes or comments or subscribers or followers they have. It's completely based on this inner state of life. And I also feel the kind of work you do, right, the kind of value you create in the arena of work is greatly dependent on how deep and rich you are on the inside, right? Your work can never be deeper than you, right? So I think it's important to do what's in your control, stop worrying about what's not in your control, engage in the present, create value, build real, solid inner worth, sense of self-esteem. That will enable you to live a life of fulfillment and happiness. So then you're not depending on the externals for validation. Because I've also realized that people who are overly reliant on their looks or their externals are never able to sustain human happiness, never able to sustain fulfillment, right? Because they're constantly on that hamster wheel, right? And that's controlling everything within and how they feel and how they react.
Yeah, and that's going to change also with years.
Yeah.
If you're just relying on your looks and your physical appearance, it's not sustainable for the long term. So it's very important to have that inner power, inner strength. And that can look different for everyone. Like, people think that having a spiritual practice means sitting and meditating. It doesn't have to be that. Everyone can find their own way to do it. Whatever makes you feel centered, grounded, and find that inner peace is going to work for you, and it's going to be different for everyone.
Yeah.
That's what I suggest to any of my friends or clients, students. What makes me feel good might not make you feel good. So just find that one thing that you can practice on a daily basis and help you start and feel that inner strength and power.
Yeah. How has dating in India been?
Quite successful. I must say. No, it's been good.
It's been good?
Yeah. No complaints.
No complaints, okay. And how do you think men here are, let's say, different from men anywhere else in the world?
Very passionate.
Passionate.
Very direct. Which is a good thing. Sometimes can get a bit overwhelming, but no. Overall, it's been, I think Latin and Indian cultures are very similar in that sense. As you probably have heard or know of, Latin guys are also very passionate and very romantic, direct. So that is very similar with Indian culture. And actually growing up, even though I lived in London, all my ex-partners were all Spanish or Latin heritage. So I've always had that kind of similar personality traits in my partners. No, but it's been good. there are obviously cultural differences that I still don't understand because I've not been brought up like that. But like I said, once I've immersed into this into this country, into this city, I have to accept whatever. Even when it comes to dating, you have to accept that your partner maybe lives with his parents,
Yeah.
even though he's 30 plus, because that is the way the culture is here.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about it.
I used to write a column on love, dating, and sex, and my job was to go out and meet women and write about it the next day. And I'm really grateful for that.
You
For
learnt
that
a lot.
job. I learned a lot. I'm so grateful for that job because it enabled me to really understand the dynamics between the sexes and the chemistry between men and women. And I find that it's often like a set of skills or a confidence that can be learned for a man. It's not something that, men often feel, oh my God, he's like a natural. He's very confident and he's very fun, he's very free around a woman that he's attracted to or he's romantically interested in. But I'm not like that. So, maybe he's a natural and I'm not. So often, a lot of men grow up thinking like that. But the truth is, what I realized from my experience during that time is that it can be learned. And most women are really excited and happy when somebody comes up to talk to them to say hello, especially when he knows what he's doing. If he doesn't know what he's doing, that can be a nightmare, it can be a big problem, right? But it's a skill that can be learned, and I mean, there's so many rules and there's so many aspects to that interaction that hold water and that are of value, but it's only by doing it more and more that you can learn it. Like, I feel like one thing that we were taught growing up is never talk to strangers. And then nobody came back to us when we were 19 or 20 and said, okay, now you can talk to strangers.
That's so
Go
true.
in and talk to strangers because, because most of your friends or close friends or even somebody you're dating or married to was like a stranger 6 months or 6 years ago. So I think talk to strangers, guys. You must talk to strangers. And I feel like you shouldn't be scared of people. I find a lot of people, a lot of men moving around living in their heads, unable to say hello or give a compliment or greet somebody, especially when it's a woman they're attracted to. Do you feel like there are like a couple of things that if men did better or differently, it would increase their chances to date somebody that they like?
Okay, so first of all, no guy is born with this confidence to talk to any woman. It's because they are doing some internal work at home and on themselves. So that's always going to reflect in the outer world, whether it's emotional work, mental work with their family in terms of their relationships with the people around them, career-wise. So just be confident in that you are also working on your internal self. And that's always going to, when you're talking to a woman, they will notice that. They'll know if you're emotionally stable, if you're mentally good. No, okay, that sounded really bad. Anyway, number two, I think a woman always runs away when a guy is extra clingy. Like, I love cuddles. I love when someone is super, super affectionate. But when the guy, especially if it's new, is too invested, is too clingy, that's not gonna work. So just be yourself, be chilled, let it go with the flow. Something's gonna happen naturally. That's the best way. And lastly, be direct, be honest with what you want from the very beginning. Don't lead someone on if you're not looking for a relationship. If you want to just have some fun, be honest. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, nice. Has that worked on you before?
I think so.
Okay, good. Yeah, I feel during my time though, there were a couple of things that I learned. One of them was have the confidence and the courage to go up to somebody who you are attracted to and strike up a conversation. Be cool about it. Don't be needy. Don't be desperate. Definitely do not say things like, I'm really lonely. Definitely don't say things like, I haven't dated somebody in 5 years. Definitely don't say something like, my mom's waiting to meet you, right? So be cool, be chill, be fun. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I don't think it's important to be good looking. I don't think it's important to look like Brad Pitt or have 12 abs. right? But it's not about good looking, but it's you need to have a look, which means just you need to be
Groomed.
hygiene. You don't need to be good looking, but you need to have a look. So you need to be groomed. You need to just be well put together, presentable, right? So a woman can feel comfortable in your presence and feel like this guy is taking care of basic hygiene. And the third thing I would say is that embrace yourself, bring your authenticity to the table. If you like video games and you feel you're geeky or nerdy, that could be something that she really appreciates and thinks is fun and cool, right? If it's coupled or married to or sort of like done well, it's something that she could connect to, right? So embrace yourself and be authentic and have fun with it. And also, like, I think it's very important to develop social intuition, social ability. And social ability and social intuition comes from putting in the work,
That's what I
right?
was
That
saying.
means you have to be social. You have to overcome this social atrophy. Means you have to exercise your social muscles. You have to go out. You have to meet people. You have to say hello to strangers. You have to, say genuine things you feel about people to people. You have to jump into the pool. So if you see somebody that you're really attracted to, go and say hello, say hi. And then it doesn't need to be any pickup lines. You can just say something that you really mean. If you really like what she's wearing, you can comment on that, right? But the problem is then men start jumping in and then they sort of like try to become her best friend, and then they're like 2 years later when she breaks up with her boyfriend, I'm going to swoop in and tell her, I've actually been in love with you for 2 years. And she's like, what? Like, you've been in friend zone for 2 years. You mean my bestie for 2 years, clicking pictures of me and my boyfriend. Now you're suddenly jumping in and saying you were attracted to me. So I think that was your third point. That's an important one. That keep it man to woman,
Yeah, be
keep it
honest from the
straight, be
beginning.
honest and authentic. Is there like a mindset or a belief that has changed about what you feel about India or the culture or your experience here that has changed over the years?
I think before I came to India, I had a very stereotypical mindset of India. Third world country, people are struggling, there's not much. But boy, has that changed. I mean, you get everything and anything and more in this country. Like, it is developing so fast. I've seen such a change since the last 5 years since I've been here. I mean, I still tell people the amount of things you get like this on your doorstep in 5 minutes, you don't get anywhere in the world. And everything is just growing. You look at the roads, you look at the buildings, it's insane. Of course, this is because Mumbai is such a metropolitan city and is growing. But even other places in India is so culturally rich. I'm obsessed with Rajasthan. I mean, I've visited a lot of it. And yes, there's craziness. Yes, there's havoc and everything, but you overlook all of that and it's just pure culture, richness, love, such amazing energy. So all that has been shown in the last few years here. I had no idea about how amazing this country is and all the diversity. You go from the north to the south, is completely opposites. Like, you have everything here.
What do you think is the top 3 red flags when you start seeing a man?
That they want to get married next week? I'm joking. Okay, so one thing is, I would say, when they are being controlling over your work. If you start seeing someone and they're already questioning what you're doing with your life and they have no input in your financial stability, you can tell them to shut up because they have no say in how you're paying your bills and everything. So that is one big red flag for me. Like, if you have made it somewhere without that person, they should not suddenly come into your life and tell you how you should be doing things. Be supportive, encourage, give constructive feedback, but don't demand from your girlfriend if you have not really helped them get to where they have in the beginning. Second red flag is definitely any kind of disrespect, whether it's raising their voice or cutting you out, not letting you express your opinion, your emotions. Just subtle disrespect that maybe you don't really realize at the beginning, but if it's starting slowly in a few years, it can get out of control and too late. It'll be too late. Okay, the third for me would be not communicating properly, not being honest, forward. If you feel a certain way, you should communicate. Otherwise, miscommunication will happen. Small, unnecessary arguments that can lead to bigger things will happen. So just being honest, direct, and if there's something that is not working, just talk about it. A lot of the times in relationships, people don't want to talk about it. And then that problem just keeps happening, keeps continue, and then it'll suddenly explode one day. So I think communication is 100% key. Honesty, trust, everything plays a big part into a relationship.
Yeah, yeah. Because I feel like if you ignore red flags because the chemistry is really hot, or you really like the person, or because you really want to make this work, you will pay for it later.
Yeah.
If you ignore red flags because the chemistry is too hot, or you really like the person, or you really are attached to the outcome, you really want to make it work, you will pay for it later. Because later you're so emotionally invested, right, that you are trying to make the relationship work at the cost of your self-respect, your peace, your health, your sanity, and then you wait till a relationship ends violently, right? And I think another big red flag is if you find you've been disrespected continuously in a relationship in various degrees, shapes, and forms, and you're still in that situation with no change or improvement, right, despite your best efforts to change it, then chances are that you are allowing that person to disrespect you, right? And you're letting it happen by not standing up for yourself. You're lacking the courage to say no. You're lacking the courage to put your foot down, right? And then what happens is that that person begins to feel that, oh, this person is going to stay no matter what I do, you know? So that's when the disrespect gets amplified, and before you know it, it's a norm. It's part of the relationship. You know, that's the second one for me. And the third one for me, oddly, was if a person changes their profile pictures every 3 hours. She changes her profile pictures every 3 hours. Look at her face.
No.
You do.
What did I? I change it once a month. Not even. Why is that a red flag? Please explain yourself.
I mean, I could be wrong, but it's something that I found to be quite accurate, that if a person is constantly changing their profile picture every couple of hours, it seems to me that they really need the validation.
Every couple of hours is too much.
That's what I'm saying.
It's happened.
It's happened.
Oh God.
It's happened. What do you think about this new woke / spirituality culture that you encounter a lot wherever you go, on different podcasts or different tables that you're meeting people at dinners?
I think people are becoming more self-aware. They're trying to find their inner peace, inner intuition, inner voice, and this is why a lot of people are trying to come and start their spiritual practice and spiritual journey. And like I said at the beginning, it's going to be different for everyone. But I think it's actually a very good initiative for most people, because there's a lot of pressure out there and people are trying to find that place where they feel safe. And the importance of it is slowly coming out into the world. I think maybe through social media, it's a very good way to inspire people and get people, transmit the knowledge to people about spirituality, whether it's through Buddhism, whether it's through meditation, through yoga, through religion. There are so many different ways. It's just finding the right way for you.
Yeah. I think what the world today lacks is authenticity, and I think like real deep empathy. I think wisdom and depth reveal themselves through the quality of a conversation, right? How connected and how joyous or how empowered you feel after talking to somebody. Or depth and wisdom reveal itself when spirituality is addressed directly, right? When people talk about the topic of spirituality. But I find that today a lot of people use it as perhaps a tactic because it's trend, or it's they're trying to be woke, or it's in vogue for clickbait, to get the likes, to get comments, to get traffic, because that means, eyeballs and money. So it's the right thing to say, it's the correct buzzword, it's well rehearsed, right? But then I find that the same people behind closed doors display like unbridled arrogance and entitlement and just like straight up disrespect towards the people in their in their surroundings, in their environment, the people who work for them, the people who they help, right? And you find them treating them so horribly. So I think a lot of people who are practicing some form of spiritual journey. I think the challenge is to not live a dual life, but to be able to let your practice reflect in the way you live, the way you behave, the way you treat other people, the way you resolve conflict. I think a lot of people at loggerheads, even like great thinkers and philosophers, they often find themselves at a loggerhead when they're trying to understand what is the purpose of religion or what is the fundamental objective of a faith, right? And so I've been practicing Nichiren Daishonin's Buddhism for, this is my 20th year. And one thing that I think is deeply engraved in my life is that the fundamental objective of any faith should be self-development. It should be inner transformation. It should be real change, true growth that enables you to transform as a human being, that outwardly then reflects in the way you live. It's embodied in the way you move in the world. But I think too many times we find that there's this huge gap. And I think a big part of me practicing Buddhism also had to do with me overcoming my lack of belief in my life, right? Overcoming this deep disbelief in the potential and timeline of my own life. I think a lot of people are so insecure, and what prevents them from moving ahead is the same thing that prevents them from feeling happy for peers and friends and colleagues who are actually successful and doing well, right? It prevents them from genuinely feeling happy for them because they're so deeply insecure, and they feel like they're not good enough, right? So they're projecting that into their environment, and then that affects the quality of their relationships. So I think everything is inside out, and for me, my Buddhist practice has enabled me to be on this honest journey of human revolution, changing, transforming, growing, and doing my best to be able to take as many people along with me.
Exactly what you said. When it comes to yoga, it's the same thing. Yoga is not just a physical practice and not just a spiritual practice. It's what you do outside, when off the mat. And a lot of people miss that part of yoga. They think it's just a workout. But it's not. It's how you treat people. It's how you go day by day, the thoughts you're telling yourself, the way you're speaking to other people, the way you treat everyone. That is the biggest part of spirituality that a lot of people miss out. They think it's just praying, meditating. That's the start. That's the basic.
How do you deal with conflict?
You have touched a sensitive topic because How do I deal with conflict? I avoid. No. That is what I used to do. So I deal very badly with conflict, I'm not going to lie. And I'm sure a lot of people do. It's a learning journey for me to speak out, to actually not be scared, because even with family conflict, I've always been so scared to actually say what I've felt. So I think what I've learned in the last year especially, just stand up for yourself. Because even if it's with family or close friends, you need to stick to your beliefs, to what you think is right, even if you're hearing all these voices and telling you this, that. Stick to what your intuition is saying. And don't avoid conflict, because if you avoid it now, it's going to keep coming back later. So that I'm still trying. It's still an ongoing journey for me.
I think the greatest litmus test of a person's authenticity is how they deal with conflict.
But what if someone finds it really hard because they hate conflict?
I think that's okay. I think everybody's unique and they're special and they have their own journey in dealing with conflict. Because they're always going to be a difference in opinion. There's going to be a clash in ego. There's going to be somebody who's self-righteous, somebody who's less confident. There's going to be somebody who always feels justified and has very, very strong sense of opinion. That's always going to happen. But I think that the ability to overcome one's own ego and be the bigger person in the situation, that is a litmus test of how deep the inner work that they're actually doing.
the problem with me is not my ego, it's wanting to keep the peace. So instead of actually confronting someone, I will just keep quiet and just maintain peace. But what I've learned is that if I don't speak out now, then that problem is going to arise again, because that person's just going to think I'm just going to sit there and take everything. So that is what I'm learning. And it's not about ego for me, it's more about I don't want to cause conflict, I don't want to disrupt any kind of peace. That is my problem.
Got it. You know, my mentor, Daisaku Ikeda, talks about the two extremes of, the inner life. And he talks about artists in particular. He says, artists they sort of pendulum and they waver between two extremes. One is extreme delusions of grandeur, where a person feels, I'm the shit, I'm it all, it starts and ends with me, I'm the real artist, I understand what art means. All these other people are just like pandering to the gallery, and they're just playing to the crowd, and they just don't know what it really is, and I don't even know how they're getting work, and they're not even talented. Extreme delusions of grandeur, right? Where you just have an inflated sense of self and ego. The other extreme is a hopeless, complete lack of belief in oneself, right? And a lack of courage, a deep disbelief in one's own limitless potential, yeah, where I feel that, I am the most, unfortunate, zero talent, really unlucky, poor, extremely bad cards dealt to my life kind of a person, right? So that's the other extreme. But the Buddhist view is the middle path, which says that it's respect for your own life and respect for another person's life. In fact, he says that compassion or empathy and self-respect are two sides of the same coin. They're two factors that tie into the same principle, which is respect for the dignity of human life. Often people feel that, how can I be compassionate or empathetic when I'm in the receiving end of all this disrespect, right? So the Buddhist view of compassion is very interesting. It says that it's not being overly sentimental or emotional, right? Neither is it being naive, or gullible or getting taken advantage of, and neither is it being super arrogant or projecting your opinions too strongly on people. It's the middle path, It's the ability to have a strong sense of self, while being able to, really respect other people and display deep compassion and empathy for them, even if you don't understand where they're coming from, even if you don't fully agree with them. We're seeing this today is projected in various parts of the world, with the Russia-Ukraine conflict, with, Israel-Palestine. You often find two people from the opposing parties jumping onto a conversation, and before you know it, it's firecrackers and they're flares and they're almost down to blows, because there's this inability to step into the other person's shoes. And that's where the Buddhist sort of view of resolving conflict comes into place.
That is what I need to work on.
I think all of us.
For sure.
So you're Gen Z, how old are you?
27.
27. Do you feel like all the comments about the new generation lacking perseverance, or not being sincere in work, or not fully understanding how to get through the old school traditional values is correct?
I didn't really consider myself Gen Z until I saw the timeline that is 97 onwards. Otherwise, I don't consider myself Gen Z because I don't have any of these beliefs. I think I freaking hustle hard. I have a lot of perseverance. But I think that's a very, what's the word?
Blanket generalization?
Yeah, it's a very big and incorrect generalization. You can't say those comments about such a grand scale of people. Like, it doesn't apply to every single one. So I think there are a lot of good things that the Gen Z generation are also bringing, right?
Yeah. I think humans are humans, and I think it's case to case. Everybody's unique. There are kids who are super driven and humble and sincere and honest, and there are kids that are just trying to get by with the least amount of work. I think this was a previous generation. I think this is an every generation problem, but I think one of the unique characteristics of this generation is that there is such a speedy timeline that they're constantly exposed to around them, that being impatient just becomes part of their software, right? Because you go on social before your line of vision or your exposure bandwidth was your friends, your family, your building, and that one cousin you had in America or that one cousin you had in Agra, right? And that was your line of vision, where you got your information about what's happening in the world. Now, when you're on Instagram, you are exposed to everything going on in every corner of the world, and there's always somebody who is richer, cooler, hotter, traveling more, making more money, with the perfect career, perfect skin, perfect face, at the age of 19, at the age of 17, right? So it's almost like there's this constant comparison treadmill battle that the youth have to face, because they're not pitted against themselves, they're pitted against everybody all the time. So what happens is that they're always feeling that I'm not good enough and I'm failing at life, and by now I should have had this, by now I should have achieved this, by now I should have made $1 million, by now I should have had 1 million followers, by now. So it's like you're not being able to accept where you are, and as a result you're running ahead of yourself. So you're always anxious and insecure and triggered by everything. So there's like this deep sense of anguish and anxiety, right? Because there's like an inability to appreciate your life, who you are, your talents, your abilities, and where you can take your life, And I think that is affecting their ability to do the slow burn traditions that we used to do, or we still do, let's say, like reading or doing things like getting off a screen and going out and meeting people. You know what I mean?
So I think that all this comparison that we get on Instagram, on social media about not being good enough, I think it's affecting all generations also. I mean, you're not part of the Gen Z community, but community, not the word.
Gen Z community.
You're not part.
She crazy. She fucking crazy, innit, mate?
I think that this
Right.
comparison is between all of us, Gen Z, non-Gen Z. We have such incredible resources to do so much more than maybe like your generation. I'm not calling you old, but you're not part of the Gen Z generation. Sorry, mate. You also can
She's
see
drunk.
No.
You're drunk.
Chup rahi yaar. I'm not drunk. What I'm trying to say here is swallow. Swallow. Good job. I think there are two ways to see the resources that we get on Instagram, on social media. You can either see it as a positive or a negative. There are a lot of amazing resources that we have to help us do more in our Gen Z, in this generation. I believe that because you see so much of what people are doing, that gives you the drive to do more. Yes, sometimes you can feel that self-worth, am I doing enough? I'm 27 and I've not reached this amount of followers or money or whatever. But it also gives you the possibility to do a lot more than when we didn't have all these resources. So it's about seeing it in those two mindsets, right?
Yeah, I think it's not good or bad inherently in itself, but I think it's greatly dependent on the sense of self-worth and the inner state of life of the person who's on anything, right? If you are in a low state of life, it'll make you anxious and insecure. If you're in a high state of life, it'll drive you to do more and it'll inspire you to create more, right? I think it's an incredible time we're at, because there is such great opportunity, right? There's such great leverage, right? If you think about it, now you can use social to connect with people that you forgot about, that were part of your life 15, 20 years ago, anywhere in the world. You can create a business and you don't need a medium between you and your customer base, right? You can talk to them directly. You don't need somebody to approve of your idea or concept, right, or business. You can immediately talk to your customer base and your demographic, right? By, like, Naval Ravikant said something beautiful. He says, like, now, because there's permissionless leverage, by writing code or writing a book or starting a podcast or just becoming a vlogger, you can talk to people and you can make your voice heard and send a message to the world and make money off it. You can monetize your skill through social media. So it's an incredible time we're at. But I think the difference depends on the state of life and the outlook and where that person in question is at, right?
Of course, if you're not strong emotionally, mentally, spiritually, if you're not grounded, anything you see anywhere is going to affect you, make you feel like you're not good enough. That's the inner work that you have to do through spirituality or through...
Yeah. Another thing that I feel is that a lot of people feel that, this opportunity is too small for me. When it comes to you from, whatever work that you do. But I think something that I strongly feel is that don't reject small opportunities because they're not big enough. Take them in your stride, and if you do small things well, bigger doors will open. But if you don't do small things well and you reject them because they're not as incredibly lucrative or creatively fulfilling as they should be, right? Then you're just going to be stuck at the same place. And like my mentor, Daisaku Ikeda, always says, that you can never find your mission by standing still. You have to move. You have to keep moving. You have to get going, right? Only when you start moving will you find the direction forward, right? So I think it's incredibly important to take things on your stride, and I think that's where entitlement comes into play, right? If you feel you're too big for something, you'll never challenge yourself. You'll never work on developing your skills. You'll never give full play to your potential. You won't give your gift to the world. So you have to be able to. You have to taste different things and go in different directions. Like for me, I was like, I'm not going to say no if it's an interesting opportunity. That's why I first got into advertising. Before advertising, I was a waiter for a year and a half while I was doing PR with bars and restaurants. It was incredibly exhilarating experience because my state of life was high because I was practicing Buddhism. So even being a waiter was such a phenomenal experience, And then I got into advertising. Then I started writing the column on love and dating. After that, I started hosting travel shows. Then I got into voiceovers full time. Then we opened Soho House. I was part of the opening team and was part of membership for 5.5, 6 years. Modeling and acting started then, And I started acting at 34. I now have young friends and they're like, Rosh bhai, kuch nahi ho raha hai, and I'm 22 and things are not working. Or kya karu, kahan jaun? Things are not moving at the pace I want. I was like, brother, you're 22. Your life hasn't even started. And I would say even if you're 28, even if you're 39, you are still young. You're still so young. In the massive long-term spectrum, you have light years ahead of you to be able to create anything you want. You know what I mean?
Your life can restart at any point.
Yeah.
Even if you're 50. But what you were saying about not just sitting, and you have to get out there, even especially in our film industry, if you're working to be an actor, a model or whatever, get out there. You have to meet people. And what you said is so true. The smallest things can get you the biggest projects later on because someone will remember you that you did this. To me, it's happened that people have remembered me as a background dancer to then cast me or recommend me for an acting project. It's how you do any work, even if it's small or it's big, because that's always it's your impression that you make on people. Even if you're there in some small role as a feature cast, if you're doing it professionally, if you're doing it well, your aura will be there, your energy, people will notice you. If you're there like, oh, I'm just there as a background artist, I'm not.
Because it's coming from a perspective of this is a monetary exchange that I'm not happy with.
But
that's where it normally comes from, right? That's where it's normally coming from. So and that's what causes the anxiety and the not feeling like I'm getting that break because it's not paying me what I wanted to pay me. You know what I mean?
You can't expect it to pay you what you expect as your break when you are just starting or you're still in your first few years.
Yeah.
You have to keep working. It's a journey. No, you're not gonna start up here. You have to start here and slowly, gradually, it'll come.
That's why I'm always saying that it's so important to get out of your head, right? Have the courage to, get moving. You know what I mean?
Put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Create as much as you can. Go meet people, network, socialize. It's all part of it.
Yeah.
It's going to help you in some way or the other, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Are there any things that you feel you can do better in your daily life?
Structure my days better.
What is your determination for 2026?
Don't run. I feel like I'm running every single day of my life. Which is good. I love it. But there are days where I'm like, I need to just relax also. If you want to do things properly, you also have to give it full focus, right? Sometimes I feel like I'm here, there, everywhere, that I'm not giving enough attention to one thing. I also believe that it's important to have various things going on at the same time, but I just feel like I'm running half the time and sometimes not able to give my 100% to one thing. So that's something I really want to work on. And I do feel like Mumbai is a little hard to do that because everyone is on the run. And I wish my day was 36 hours and not 24, but not possible.
Absolutely. Okay, amazing.
I'm a kind of person who thinks they can do 100 things in one day. And there are friends of mine who say, Ali, it's not really possible all the time.
Do you find that a lot of your clients are surprised that a Spanish girl is teaching me yoga?
It's quite controversial though. Foreigners coming to India to teach Indians. Yes, but it's okay. No one has really found it strange in a way. Everyone's accepted it really well, and I think people actually enjoy it. I really appreciate that a lot of people are getting back into the culture of yoga in this country, because I think it got a bit lost in maybe your generation and mine also, the Gen Z generation, but slowly it's coming back. A lot of people are appreciating. Maybe it's because in the West it's become so big that Indians have suddenly realized, oh shit, we've forgotten our own roots and other people are taking it from the West. But it's slowly coming back. I think a lot of people in Mumbai, every alternate person I meet and I tell I'm a yoga teacher, they're like, oh my God, I want to practice yoga. So it's definitely coming back here, which is amazing to see.
Right, good. Yeah, so one thing that I'm telling people is that, get out of your own head, start living in the present, stop living in the future, and get out of your own way. I think we're putting a lot of limiting beliefs on ourselves that drive the way we engage with the day, right? And nobody can take away anything that wasn't yours in the first place, right? So their life, your peers, your friends, your colleagues have nothing to do with your life, right? You have a unique purpose, you have a great mission, you have a set of talents, right? And you have a timeline that is yours alone and a mission that only you'll be able to fulfill. So comparing yourself to somebody else or constantly projecting their timeline onto your life is only going to create anxiety and insecurity, yeah? And will stop you from giving your gift to the world. So don't be a prisoner of the past, engage in the present, create value now, stop worrying about things that are not in your control, worry about what you can do today, right? And that's how you'll be able to truly tap into your potential.
I think that's such a refreshing and such a way to relieve yourself, remembering what is meant for you is going to come.
Yeah.
Stop chasing something that is not actually going to fulfill you, because we think that we should also be doing what that person is doing. Or if, for example, you have auditioned and you've not gotten that role, it's because it's not meant for you. Something bigger and better will come. And it's just reminding yourself these small things that actually create a big impact in keeping yourself calm.
The prevalent narrative in a lot of entertainment industries is that for me to win, you have to lose.
No!
A lot of the narratives in people's heads.
Okay, I don't agree with that. There's enough work.
When you're in an audition, right, but when you're in an audition with somebody and you don't get it, another person gets it, the prevalent narrative is that I did something they didn't do. Or they did something that I didn't do.
I just believe that I just didn't fit in what they wanted.
Yeah, but I said the prevalent narrative.
I got it, yeah. It's just about, you have to be in that abundant state of mind. If you're thinking, oh, I didn't do something that they did, you're in lack. So it's about changing that mindset. It's not about that you didn't do something, it's just that that role was not the right one for you. And tomorrow, one audition will come that you do fit in, 100%.
So if that role was not for you, continues for 5 years, how do you deal with that?
5 years without a role.
Happens.
I know.
So the abundance mindset that you're talking about, it's easy to sustain when things are going your way, when things are not going your way.
That is true. It's obviously there are times I try and be in that abundance mindset and I'm constantly being rejected, and you're going to get 100 no's before you get one yes. In order to sustain all those no's, you have to have other things going on. You have to have something else that fulfills you, that gives you purpose. That's what I always tell people. If you're trying to come into this acting industry, have something that you're also working on yourself, that's yours, that no one is telling you yes or no, that is actually something that you can control 100%. That is one advice that I would suggest and can keep you going in terms of the acting also.
And something that I always feel like something that I'm telling my friends from the industry is that please stop subscribing to the narrative that there's no work. Because there is work, there's always work, there are projects being greenlit, there are films that are being commissioned, there are people that are being casted. This narrative in your head that there's no work is a narrative that can keep you in the victim mindset for years without making any progress or headway and creating any value and really being able to put yourself out there. So don't subscribe to the narrative. While economic conditions and actual industry circumstances might be accurate, what you're saying, but the truth is that there is a lot of movement. There's a lot going on. This mindset will keep a person stuck in the same place for 10 years, right? So we have to stop saying that and we will start moving and start taking action. And I think when a person starts overcoming this deep disbelief they have in their own potential, or this disbelief or this delusion or this ignorance about the true worth of their own life, when they stop like wrapping their sense of worth around their career or their partner, right, then you're really in a place where you're able to create this sense of fulfillment and joy and take joyous action. It's possible to experience joy through suffering. You can experience sense of fulfillment when your environment is not what you want it to be, right? Because it's always inside out. It's never outside in, right? Another beautiful thing that Nichiren Buddhism teaches is that the cause for victory, right, or stagnation, happiness or suffering lies within you. It does not lie in your environment. The causes are within. So when you transform your state of life and undergo a deep inner transformation, you're able to shape-shift, change, transform, move, activate the environment in your favor and move your life in the direction that you want.
And remind yourself that whatever's happening is not happening to you. It's happening for you. Whatever is your surroundings, take whatever is happening. But don't be in that victim mindset, which a lot of people get stuck in. I'm loving all your teachings. I think everyone should listen to them every single day.
So are you Silly Billy Chili from the couple show? You look very similar.
Stop it. No, you didn't.
Are you saying I'm recording you now?
No, you did not.
Are you
Just
though?
bring it up. Yes, I am. I don't know which one I am.
You feel like you're more like Silly, not Chili.
I'm chilly.
You're Chili?
No, I think Irina is chilly. I think I'm silly.
You're Silly?
We don't even know. That's how messed up it is. No. I think I'm silly.
What is the biggest lie that people say about the wellness space in yoga?
One thing that you see a lot on Instagram, whatever social media, is that because I've done this, it's worked for me, it'll also work for you. But that is something that people shouldn't get caught up on, because everything is going to determine whether this workout works for you or this diet works for you, because the environment also is a huge factor. So someone in the US who has different surroundings, environment, food, workout habits is not going to be the same as someone here. So there's a lot of comparison that is happening right now on social media that is not realistic. So this mindset of that, if it's worked for me, it'll also work for you. I think that is something that is being misled on social media nowadays.
Do you feel like you have to uphold the pressure of having the perfect body when you're an actress and teaching yoga?
Yeah. So
How does that make you
I
feel?
work out every day. It's not so, I've kind of not made it into something that puts pressure on me. It's something that I've made into my lifestyle. So I don't feel good if I don't move my body in a certain way. It doesn't mean I have to go to the gym and lift weights. It means even going for a walk or doing my yoga. It's just become a habit for me. Like, I need it for my mental peace. So I've kind of stopped making it about a physical thing, because it used to get to me a lot, and it became very unhealthy. Like, I was obsessed with how I used to look, and I lost a lot of weight. I've kind of made it into more of a mental thing for me.
Are you going to be in India for the indefinite future?
I guess so. I am going with the flow. I have no idea where the world is leading me. No, yes, I am in India because I'm meant to be here.
Thanks so much. Thank you for giving us your time and coming on the first
Namaste.
episode of Rosh Hour.
Rosh Hour, you're killing it. So proud of you.
Arigato, muchas gracias.
Gracias. Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste,
Namaste.
everyone. Namaskar.